Hi, it's MA. We've got a long bank holiday weekend here in the US, and I got off work a little early. So I am hanging out in my yard. The wind chimes are going. Unfortunately, my neighbors are also using power tools, so this might not work out, but I'm under a tree over here, and I don't think they'll show up. The irises have just opened. The former owner here planted those, and I get to enjoy them every year in the spring. So I'm going to try to do this, and let's see what happens. And we're going to let you enjoy the upview of this tree for a while. Okay, so Ramon at Moon Scarab, there are 10 questions, and for each question you pick a card that answers the question. And the first question is, which card do you find the most inspiring in the tarot? I picked the Four of Wands. And this is because for me, I get overwhelmed easily. I'm not good with grand gestures. And I find that this Four of Wands is both achievable in terms of, day-to-day life and small victories. And it's also quite invitational, right? There's joy that we could be getting invited to participate in or could be already celebrating. So when I get this card in a reading, I just feel really good about it. It just gives me a really good feeling. Yeah, so that's my pick for card number 1. The second question is, which card do you find the most distressing? Well, here we go. For me, it is definitely the Five of Wands. And much the way that Four of Wands I found more relatable because it's in a minor, in a day-to-day life. Some of the minor cards distress me more than some of what are generally considered the scary cards in the majors. This card particular could really trigger a lot of bad feelings and emotions for me. I actually have had to spend a lot of time with it to dive in deeper and find more layers and alternative ways of looking at it and perspectives of looking at it. Really, the most just devastating thing it reminds me of the behavior of some religious organizations during the AIDS crisis and in the 1980s, with the overall attitude of, we'd rather you just go ahead and die. And I know that crisis, of course, is thought of a lot of in terms of loss of life, but it was also really one of desertion. I had friends that did practice religions that they were not welcome in, explicitly no longer welcomed in. And it was just really, really hurtful. And of course, we still see those kind of behaviors today. So that's really the distress level that I get from this card. And yeah, like I said, I've had to do some other work on perspectives so that if it comes up in a reading, right? Because the last thing I want in a reading, whether it's for myself or anyone else, is a card that only has one meaning that just triggers the whole reading in a direction that it wasn't trying to go. Yeah, so that's my card of distress. The next one is, what card do you find the most enigmatic? And I picked the Justice card for similar reasons that I was just talking about with that Five of Pentacles. This is a card for me that I just really have not peeled the layers of yet. A lot of times when it shows up in a reading, I'm kind of befuddled about what it's doing there and what it's trying to say. And yeah, I know there's like a surface kind of obvious meaning here, but I have trouble still digging beyond that or finding nuance in it, especially when it's a traditional depiction like this. And now that I've been going through the cards again, I see the pillars of the High Priestess. I see the curtain in the background. I see a lot of things that I know I can spend some time and unpack a little more and leave myself more room for flexible readings with this card, but I haven't really gotten there yet, especially with this traditional depiction from Pixie's artwork. And I will mention that I did choose to use my traditional Pamela Coleman Smith Illustrations Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I really wanted to be influenced by the card meaning and not the varieties of illustration. And that's why I went with this deck. Okay, the next one, I hope I got it right. What card would you put in a time capsule for future humankind in 1,000 years? And I put the Ace of Cups because all I could really think of, like, they don't need to hear from me. I don't know what they'll think of tarot. So I think whatever card I put in, and I did pick this one because I would put it in there as a talisman, and I would just send love into the future and hope that they feel love coming from us as their ancestors and for each other. Hopefully more love for each other than we can sometimes muster up in our own time period. So this is my gift from the tarot to future humans, or future whatever sentient beings are able to interpret images symbolically. So there we go. The next one is, let's see, I am newly elected president of a new country, and what tarot card do I put on my flag? Well, I chose the Three of Cups because I just figured any country that elects me is going to be down for some ladies dancing, and doesn't mean that we're all fun and games, but yeah, that kind of joining together and that. So that's it. Easy one. Then we have a card. I may be getting these in the wrong order, but these are the questions. What card, if we're visited by aliens, or if I'm sending a card to an alien, like what card would I send them to represent mankind? And I'm picking the Three of Wands because I see this image and he's holding this kind of a globe and looking out with this sense of exploration. And I presume if the aliens are here, they're kind of doing the same thing. And I don't know what their intentions are. So I think I'm expressing this as both humankind's desire to explore and to reach new places, but also just the havoc we've reached in doing so. And I'd like to say, oh, maybe it's a warning for the aliens, but I don't think they're going to listen to me. But maybe it also puts us in our place of partially this like excitement and intellect and exploration, and also kind of a destroyer. Yep. Isn't that happy? Okay, which card reminds me of someone I love? Well, the Strength card is definitely my daughter, and she has actually created a costume based on this card for Halloween and dressed up as it. She's a young adult. She's not a child. She's actually gone as this card for Halloween. So whenever I see this particular depiction, there's no way I won't think of her, because I just see her in her, Strength card Halloween costume. Which card is on the cover of my autobiography? My autobiography has the Temperance card in the cover. Excuse me. And that is because this card represents both sides of myself, both in light and in shadow, both the good and the bad. And I tend to have a kind of a peacekeeper mentality. I'm sometimes, so I say sometimes, considered to be kind of a calming influence. But I also can be a little stagnant and not want to leave my comfort zone. And yeah, this is a card that's taken me a long time to grow into. It also, I think, I have a bunch of friends. We spent a little time kind of playing with Enneagrams with each other, and I'm a 9, which I think this Temperance card really aligns with the 9 Enneagram, which is the Peacekeeper. So for better or for worse, this is me on the cover of my bio. Which card in the Minor Arcana would you elevate into the majors? This is really hard, isn't it? I just had to go with the 8 of Cups. And I consider this like the Fool Part 2, kind of the flip side of the Fool, where the Fool is joyously jumping into something. This is the figure that is decidedly determined that it's time to leave. And I think within the cards of the major arcana, there's times when this card might be a good bridge, like let's say from the Chariot to the Strength card, or from the Moon card to the Sun card. And I honestly think if I were doing a majors only reading, I might sneak this card in, or do like a 3-card reading where I put this card in the middle and put a major, pull a major to go on either side, and ask maybe with this specific part of my life in mind, you know, where am I, and what do I need to leave behind in order to get to this other state? So yeah, I consider this another aspect of the Fool, between leaping into something and deciding to leave it behind. So that's my pick. And then the last one is, which of the pages would you choose to mentor? And I chose the Page of Wands. Very similar to what I was thinking about with the Temperance card. I think, you know, I thought of the Page of Pentacles. I thought our temperaments might be a little more suited, but I really think this page would get more from me, or because our temperaments are maybe a little bit opposite, that a relationship would benefit both of us, and that I probably have more to offer someone who's in kind of a impulsive, let's go do it kind of mode, and I could kind of ground them a little bit, and likewise they might share a little fire with me. So that's my pick. So I hope this worked, and I'll have to go find out if those power tools are too loud. So thanks for watching. Go watch Ramon's video, and Robin at Toadstool did one, and I know there's a couple more kicking around, and Ramon would really like it if people did VRs. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.